We do what we do because we love people. I was originally born in Brazil. I lived in Brazil and Canada and the US. I've had 5 international moves in my lifetime. I studied communications, marketing, and advertising as an undergraduate degree, and simultaneously at that time, I was really fascinated with human growth and development. And that is when I specialized in neurolinguistics programming and became a practitioner at the time. It wasn't until I had my first child that I really felt like my eyes were open to this whole new world of what it's like to have a baby. I had some breastfeeding complications, and then I realized that my daughter wasn't getting enough. She wasn't gaining enough weight, and that was obviously stressful. And then I had some other breastfeeding complications that were also painful, that required, lactation support. And finally, when things started to kind of like improve and my daughter was gaining weight, all of a sudden it was like, oh, it's time to go back to work. And then that was a whole other adjustment, right? So becoming a first time parent, unexpected stressors, adjusting to those stressors, trying to overcome the stressors, and then going back to work, and leaving the baby, right? So for me, that was really hard. And I know everybody has different, experiences about going back to work after having a baby. But for me, it was hard at 3 months postpartum. So I always thought about becoming a coach. Like I said, I had this background in neurolinguistics programming. Became a practitioner in my early 20s, but I just didn't feel like it was the right thing at the right time until fast forward after I had finished graduate school, become a counselor, specialize in perinatal mental health. And it wasn't till January 2020 that I just suddenly felt like this is what I need to do right now. And that is actually when my husband and I actually together joined the John C. Maxwell group, and we became certified from 2020 to 2021 through Maxwell Leadership Certification process as a coach, teacher, trainer, and speaker. And that is when we launched our new company, Wave Riders Global. I think for me, a challenge has been also, I love the work I do. I love sitting with, clients. I love working with women and men alike, moms, dads, parents. I love working with this population. Is also myself, because there's always a demand and there's always work, is to also be able to have a work-life balance. As a mom, I have to take care of me before I could help my kids. I need to take care of me before I can be there for my family. We need to put on the oxygen mask before we can help the passenger beside us. And that's true whether it's family, children, spouse. It's true if it's clients and so forth, right? I mean, for sure, one of the challenging things is sometimes not having the availability to take on new clients, right? During the pandemic, all of a sudden there was such an increase of demand for psychotherapy and support. And it was just really hard to turn people away and say, I'm sorry, I'm at my capacity, is really hard too, right? Because you want to help, right? Like, we do what we do because we love people, right? We want to help, we want to serve people and add value. So to turn people away is hard. But yet we also need to have those healthy boundaries, right? We it was such a crazy time that we lived through during the pandemic, and certainly that affected so many people in many ways, and especially mental health, that we needed to also understand as providers. I needed to take care of myself, and I had 3 kids at the time, 2 of which I was helping along with distance learning and a practice and another business that I was launching. So I don't really like the word failure. I'm going to be honest. I don't think it's a great word for us to focus on, right? Because there's like a lot of negative connotations to it. And with that negative connotation can affect us negatively, emotionally, and just even behaviorally speaking, right? So I like to kind of like tweak that a little bit and have the mindset, because I believe, and this is the kind of person I want to be, is very growth minded. I don't like to just be stagnant. And I think a lot of us just have that innate, desire within us. So for me, anytime, like, again, maybe people would say like, oh, this was a failure, that was a failure. is really more about learning as I go, and I'm learning what's working and what's not working, and I'm learning that, hey, there might be stuff that's working really well and that's great, but if there's things that maybe aren't working to the way that I was hoped to, then I would definitely want to just say, okay, well, I'm going to tweak that a little bit, right? So learning, growing, and tweaking as we go. Yeah, so if I wasn't a psychotherapist, specializing in perinatal mental health, also doing, consulting in regards to speaking, training, and coaching. I provide specialized events also in my other business. If I were not doing that, my life would be very different, right? Because right now, what I do is very people focused. And I love working with people, and that brings me joy, and supporting people so that they can also live out their, maybe dreams and some of their goals that they have in life, right? Like that brings me a lot of joy, is working with people and seeing them reach their goals and seeing them, thrive and optimize their lives in different ways. I just want to help continue to serve others, and my heart would be to be able to impact more people. So I'm going to keep on with my podcast because, again, I want to be able to impact people globally wherever they are, whether they have specialized services close to them or not. I feel like it's important that they get that education and empowerment, and then if possible get connected with the right help. 75% of people aren't getting support during this period, and they're suffering. 75% of people that have emotional complications. So really just being able to provide support, because there's too many people that suffer in silence. That is my heart, and that's my goal, and I just want to keep on moving forward to impact more lives, one life at a time, and collaborate with others that are doing the same, because I think when we link arms together, we can impact more people as well.